Alright, hey guys. So today is Sunday. We're going to get a nice head shave in. And for today, I'm actually going to be using two brushes. I want to compare and contrast them during my shave. And a lot of times I think that's easier when you use them at the same time versus use one, say, today and then the next one tomorrow. But for today's soap, we are going to be using Declaration Grooming Chaotic Neutral. It's a complex scent. I do not have it blooming with any water today. I love the label on it though, really cool. And it's supposed to be somewhat of a reminiscence of like warm tea. And I could definitely see that. It's a little sweet and warm. I'm not sure what the scent notes are, but it's it's not a banger, it's not bold and banging. But it's nice. It's one of those scents that I think anybody would enjoy, but you might not love. I don't think anybody's going to hate it. It's not bad. Will I buy it again? Probably not. There's other scents that I like more from Declaration Grooming, and there's a couple new ones that he recently released over the last couple months that I would like to try. But I'm not buying any new soap until I kill some more tubs. Yeah, it's not bad. We have the matching splash for it as well. For hardware, we're going to be using the Tatara Masamune. This is the safety bar one. I also do have the open comb version. You can see the little logo on the bottom plate there. And I have a feather with, I don't know, 2 to 3 uses on it. This is a mild razor, but it's still pretty efficient. I enjoy it, and it's actually pretty light for it being stainless steel. It's like right around 80 grams, I think, maybe 84 grams. So not bad for the weight. And it's built really nice. I've thought about selling it just because I have a couple other razors close to this. Like they're mild, but yet decently efficient. But I don't know, I like it enough to where I haven't seen a reason to let it go yet. But we'll see. You know, on my next run through of razors, there's this, the Carve Overlander in stainless steel that I have, and the WSC Winning Razor. All three are fairly mild, but yet averagely, I would say out of 1 to 10, 10 being the most efficient, they're probably a 5 in the efficiency. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a 6 or 5, 6. They're not as efficient as, say, like a Blackbird razor or a Wolfman razor, but they're efficient enough. But I like all three of the builds on them, but all three are very similar in efficiency and blade feel, very low on the blade feel for all three. I think I like the Winning Razor the best out of the three, and then this one, and then the Carve Stainless Steel Overlander. This one shines in the weight because it's lighter than the Carve. The Carve, though, works better against the grain. And the WSC, it's just great because I have it on a... Sorry about that. I have it on the Timeless TI crown handle. So it's a little bit lighter because it doesn't have the heavy stock handle that it comes with. So yeah, there you go. The two brushes I'll be using today is Declaration Grooming B8, and this pour is called Thunderhead. From my understanding, this was a pour that was only sold in a Magard meetup. It's like a blue, then it has like gray over it. Really, really great natural feeling knot. Really like it. And I'm going to compare that, and I have it soaking over here in my little cup. So I'll be using this one first Now let me throw this one in the cup. And that's going to be my Declaration Grooming B5 knot. And it's in this very unique pour. So the pour was poured by, I believe it was Jessi Chapman. I have it written down in my computer. And it has really cool seashells, like the ones from oysters, crushed up and put in the bottom. And then the ferrule is like a blue and purple. And it's a lot more colorful in person than it's coming out on that camera. So it was poured by that person and then sent to Brett at Mozingo, that closed shop recently, and he turned the handle and sent that handle to Scott, and Scott put the B5 in there. So it's pretty unique because it has 3 people that, you know, were the ones that created this brush all together. But, you know, I've talked about it in a couple of my videos that I've been kind of going back and forth, you know, do I want to keep this B5? Do I want to try a full Declaration Grooming B5? And I haven't decided yet, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to start comparing a couple of my Declaration Grooming brushes side by side. And I kind of want to compare this B5 to the B8. And you don't really hear a lot of people talking about B8, but I found it to be quite good, at least this one. So I'll be interested to see how it compares to this B5 side by side. And this might take a little longer because I didn't bloom it. Maybe I should have bloomed it. Hope everybody's doing good. I know I am. Been just taking it easy today, doing a little work around my RV, picking up, doing some organizing, things like that. Okay, that's a decent loadout. And we're going to use that as a little bit of pre-shave. And now I am going to let this bloom a little bit, just so it's a little faster on the B8 to load. Letting my water warm up a little bit. And I think that should be nice. Rotating the B8. So when I soak them, I like to let the bristles rotate a little bit for a couple. So let's go right to the dome. Putting a little bit more water in there. I can tell you right off the bat, the B5 is really soft. And, you know, I also think this brush is going to be soft anyway, just because it's an older knot that's been used. So, you know, I really think the more you use your brushes, the softer they become. It only makes sense because it's hair, right? As hair gets more use on it, it becomes softer. At least that's, you know, no science behind that, but that's my theory. This is a fairly low gel B5, which I've heard, depending on what you like, is more preferred by a lot of people. And I like it. I don't mind some gel, but I've heard when the B5s have, when they're jelly, they're jelly. And I don't prefer a lot of gel on my brushes. I prefer more of a natural soft hair, because, you know, if it has a ton of gel, it's usually not the greatest hair, and they're trying to compensate by gelling those tips to make it unnaturally soft. This has really great splay. Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking, like, maybe I should try to get a full Declaration Grooming B5 and B6. But I've kind of passed on a couple. There was a really nice looking couple of nice looking B5 and B6 I saw recently, but they were really expensive. The person wanted like 500 plus for them, and I just didn't think they were worth that. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. Like I said, I like to do kind of side by side on this. Loading it up. But there was a nice B5 and B6 recently that I saw that was really cheap. Really great deal, but the problem was the knots were 24 millimeter. And my B6 is a 26 millimeter, and it feels small. Besides that, the knot is pretty damn nice, but it just feels a little bit smaller than I like. Adding a little bit more water. And so I feel like 26 is the smallest I can really go. Because, like I said, that B6 feels small at 26 millimeter. I don't know if I would really like a 24 at all. But the handles were gorgeous on them. It was, I think, amethyst and a deep blue for the B6. Really gorgeous. But yeah, if I find a B5 or B6 in a couple of the handle colorways I'm looking for, I would buy them. So for the B6, I would really like to find one in the, I think it's called Magnum, and the other one's La Tigra. I would really, really like one of those. The B5 in the amethyst, I think that's how you say it, pour is really nice. It's like a deep purple. The other one I really like is the gold member pour. I think that's good. Get a little bit more water on there. And let's go to town. So right off the bat, I would say the B5 is maybe a hair softer. And, you know, I don't know if that's because it's that B5 is just softer than the B8, or if it's because the B5 is a little older, so it has more use. The B8 has a little bit more tip presence too, I would say, which necessarily isn't bad. I don't mind tip presence. I know a lot of people like their knots just to feel like a cloud. I do too, but I also like sometimes a little bit of tip presence, and this has it. So does the Turn and Shave new batch M6. It has a little bit of tip presence, and I really like that. I would say about the same for backbone in both of them. Yeah, B5 softer. This one has more tip presence. So the big difference here, I would say, is the B8 has more tip presence and maybe is a hair less soft. And I don't know if it's really less soft or just, like I said, the B5 being older has more uses, slash is that tip presence kind of making it seem like it's not as soft. And this is just such a smooth razor. Just such a pleasure to use. Get nice close to these ears. Like I said, even though it's a stainless steel razor, it's fairly light and nimble for stainless steel. So I think the Carve Overlander is something that I like to compare it to, because I would say they're fairly similar. They're meant to be mild, medium efficiency type style razor that anybody can use, and you can use like basically multiple blades in them, and you're not going to really have any issues, right? And the carve, I want to say the carve is like 105 or 106 grams, where, like I said, I think this is 84. So this is like 20 grams lighter than the carve. And for me, personally, 20 grams is noticeable. And me personally, I like my razors, the sweet spot for me is about 40 grams, so no lighter than 40, and all the way up to about 80 to 85. Like, this is about as heavy as I like. And even this, I wish this was a bit lighter. I've actually thought about splurging, selling this one and getting the titanium version of this, because I believe that one is in the 40s to 60 grams. So I think that one would be even more of a sweet spot for me. Unfortunately, Carve does not make the Overlander in titanium yet. Maybe one day. They do make them in aluminum, but the aluminum is too light for me. It's less than 40 grams if I remember. It's kind of like my Henson aluminum razor. I'll use it now for body grooming, shaving and stuff like that, but it's just too light for me to really enjoy using on my head or my face. And this just, yeah, knocks all the hair down. Now, with this one using the open comb plate, does make it a bit more aggressive and more efficient for sure. Definitely I can notice that when I use it. Looks like I got a little dead skin on that. Which doesn't surprise me. I've been in the sun a lot lately and I've been stupid and haven't been using sunscreen. You know, having a shaved head, your head gets a lot more sun on it, and the skin is a lot more fragile on the top of your head than, you know, the rest of your body. So the sun definitely hits it, and when it hits it and gets sunburn, it starts to really hurt. So I probably do have a little bit of dry skin up there. Now we're going to go right back to these two beautiful brushes. And yeah, I would say that main difference between B5 and B8 to me is B8 has more tip presence. I'm not really sure if it's less soft though. It definitely has, I would say it has less gel, because when this one dries, it's like not crispy at all, where my B5 is just slightly crispy. It has that slight little hard dry to it, and that's when you know there's gel on them, because that gel will dry a little bit harder on the tips. Yeah, where this is, I barely feel it. This is a lot like a cloud. B5 reminds me a lot of B14. It's just B14s are a lot easier to come by. I have 6 of those, and I've only had the opportunity to find one B5 at a good price so far. And, you know, when I first got into buying more expensive brushes, there were more B5s for sale that I saw at that time. And looking back, they were a good price. I thought they were expensive at first because I was so new. I didn't realize like what prices were what, and you know that those were really good knots. And looking back, I wish I would have bought those because they were really cool pours. Like one of them was it was called Green Goblin. It was green, sparkles in it, super cool. You know, it reminded me of the Hulk, but yeah, I guess, you know, Green Goblin from Spider-Man would also work. Second round, going across. The other one was like it was called one-off, so it was pure white with like orangish red swirls in it. Really cool looking. And then there was a really nice looking B6 that I saw that was an autumn pour, which is like a brown yellow-ish hue. Reminds me of like autumn leaves with some sparkle to it, glitter. And this is just really, really smooth still. You know, the other thing with this compared to the Carve is the Carve doesn't have an open comb variant. So, you know, it's as aggressive or efficient as it's going to be. You know, maybe a different style blade that's a little sharper will get it a little bit more efficient, but you know, that's as efficient as it gets. Where this, I do like it that I can switch it to a open comb and get a little bit more efficiency if I wanted to out of it. You know, the bad thing though is if I want to switch to titanium, I gotta buy the open comb as an additional cost, you know, so it's just, that's kind of the bad thing. You gotta spend a little extra money then. I don't know, I almost feel like this, the Masamune, I feel like it's almost, even the safety bar one, I feel like it actually might be a hair more efficient than the Carve. I could be wrong, but I feel like every time I've used it, my head feels smoother and the hair doesn't grow back as fast. But like I said, the Carve, it is the best razor I've ever used against the grain. I don't know what kind of magic or voodoo they use to do that, but by far the best I've used. Man, yeah, I don't even need a third pass. But we're going to do one, just because why not? Adding a little bit more water to the B8. And these older Declaration Grooming handles, they feel lighter to me too. I don't know what that is. I don't know if this one is just, maybe it's a little shorter than the others. But it definitely feels lighter than a lot of my other newer handles. We're just going to go through the whole head here. And then what I like to do is take the rest out, smooth it on out, and then we're going to do the same with the B5. Oh man. Yeah, every time I use this B5, I'm reminded why I haven't sold it yet, even though I keep thinking about selling it. Ooh, maybe I just need to do a want to buy ad for a B5. And if one comes up with the right pour that I like, buy it and add it to the collection. Boom. Third pass against slash kind of a hybrid. And we're still knocking. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's still a little tiny bit of stubble that that's getting by going against the grain. Don't know if you can hear my dog over there. It's having a dream. I think it's chasing somebody. Going against the grain on the side of the head. That's just smooth sailing. Going against on the other side. What I eventually want to do too with the brushes is I really want to try to do a B5, B6 against my B16, 15, and 14. Right now, B14, B15/16 are my favorite knots. But I think that's also a lot to do with I love the handles too. Where this B5, the handle's cool, but I definitely like those other ones more. So I kind of want to test them against each other so I can better evaluate the knots. Because when I value a brush, I'm also, it's not just the knot. So for me, it's also the handle. So I'm interested, is that, do I really like the knot on the B14, 15, 16 more than the B5 and B6, or is it more just the overall package that my B14s, 15s, and 16s also have cooler looking handles that I like more than my B5 and B6? Probably. Washing off the extra off my hand. Wiping down the head. Man, that was a really good shave. 3 passes. Boom. Give it a little shake. I do that to all of them. I don't know if you have to, but why not? And I'm always big too on don't cheap yourself out on a splash. They last forever. Usually I would say you can probably you could kill 2 tubs of this for 1 bottle of splash. You'll kill the soap and you'll still have half a bottle, if not more, of your splash. And the splash is a lot stronger than the soap. The splash is getting on that verge of being bold and banging. I definitely smell the tea, like a sweet tea smell comes out a lot more. Yeah, a lot more on the splash. Oh yeah. No burning, which I like. I'm starting to really enjoy aftershaves that have less alcohol content. I do like a burn every now and then, but I think it's better for my skin for the ones that have less alcohol in them. A little sparkling water. Oh man, yes, that was good. So let's do a recap of everything that we used today. Software, we used Declaration Grooming Chaotic Neutral. Soap, we also used the matching splash. Hardware, we used the Tara Masamune. This is the stainless steel version. I have a feather blade in it, and the base plate is the safety bar version. We did a brush to brush, head to head battle royale. The B5 with this very unique handle against the B8 Thunderhead. My opinion, the difference is the B5 has a hair bit more gel than this B8. It's a little bit softer, and maybe it could be because of the gel. Like I said, it could be because it's older, more uses, or it could just be because it's softer and period. The B8 has a little bit more tip presence to it. And I would say in the backbone department, they're about the same. This might have a hair, the B8, bit more backbone. Both great knots. I enjoy both. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Like I said, I enjoy a little bit of tip presence. Another one that this reminds me a lot of is Turn and Shave's new batch M6. Very similar. But the B5, it's legendary. And, you know, I do get why. But they're very similar. So if you can't find a B5 and you want something similar and you don't mind a little hair presence, tip presence, maybe a B8 is for you. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the B8 versus the B5 if you've tried both of them. Appreciate you guys coming along. I'll catch you on the next shave.